asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Hey guys, John here. So last week, Zoe and I did our review for The Warriors, and it was my first time and his first time watching The Warriors. But as I'm watching The Warriors, I realized that there's a parallel between John Wick and The Warriors, and the elements that John Wick did to make their own movie by using elements from The Warriors. So if it wasn't for The Warriors, we wouldn't even have a John Wick franchise. We wouldn't even have a ballerina movie. So I thought it would be interesting to be able to talk about the elements within The Warriors and the parallels with John Wick. And so let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. So first, we have to say passage in the truce, right, guys? So the Warriors, Cyrus proposes a truce, so all gangs can safely travel to a meeting without conflict. Then the truce breaks. The Warriors are hunted on their journey home. So you have that being played out, and there's just something horrifying about the fact that this one gang leader says, "Oh, the Warriors are the ones who killed Cyrus," and then you have all these gangs that wants to kill the Warriors, just as in John Wick Chapter 2, where John goes and kills an assassin in the Continental, and within the rules of the Continental is you cannot kill another assassin in the Continental unless they're off Continental grounds, and so John winds up killing the assassin, and therefore it puts a hit on John Wick. And also, too, he's also looking for safe passage, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I just thought it was interesting on how they use the elements of the Warriors for that, to where you have the Warriors who is being framed for something they didn't do, and they're also being hunted by gangs, while John is also being hunted by assassins. And then also, too, these gangs in the Warriors also have different names, different gang names. And then in John Wick Chapter 3, assassins, different associations. So it pulls on the lore even further when it comes down to John Wick franchise. So I thought that was pretty cool on how it heightened my experience watching The Warriors and watching John Wick. And then in John Wick Chapter 3, John Wick asked the elders for safe passage to survive while every assassin is out to kill him after being excommunicated. Now, this is where I want to talk about, okay? And the Warriors, Sully, the leader of the orphans, asked the Warriors to take off their cut so that they can give him safe passage. But the leader of the Warriors, is like, "No, you're not touching my cut. I don't care if you're giving me safe passage or anything. You're not getting my cut." So that's one element that they with the Warriors. But in John Wick, they use that, and we get this other thing in which is we're introduced into the world of the ballerinas, which is where the ballerina movie is going to take place. But they're called the Rosca Roma, which is a shadowy assassin guild that trained John Wick. And the character is played by Angelica Houston. And the film and here's the thing. I like how he goes over to the director. He's like, "Look, I need safe passage. I need to get out of this town. I need to get out of New York." And he has to use a crucifix to get out of New York. So she goes, "You do know if you do this, you're not allowed to come back to New York." He goes, "I know. I need to get out." So they take him under the back, and what they do is they brand him, and so therefore they give him safe passage. And then there's just something that I liked about the originality behind it, of the fact that this woman is giving him safe passage, but there's rules and guidelines into what happens if you wind up leaving this city and you cannot never come back or anything. But also, too, there's something also eerie and unsettling about the fact that, yeah, they're going to give the warrior safe passage, but you get to still be in the same city, but you get a safe passage home into the city that you live in. So you're still allowed to live, but who's to say that you won't die while trying to get home still, even though you have safe passage? So there's just something that I was just thinking about, was the fact that Wick is not even allowed to come back, while the Warriors are able to stay in their home and go to the city or town that they live in. So I just thought that was pretty interesting on how they played that off narratively, but also the parallel with the protagonists are navigating dangerous urban environments with a bounty on their heads, relying on or requesting a ceasefire or protection to survive. Then we have being hunted across the city, the warriors framed for a murder. The gang must survive while all the New York gangs try to take them down. And then, like I mentioned, with after being marked as excommunicado, John is hunted by assassins all over the city. And then the parallel is a survival narrative where the main characters are pursued relentlessly by a network of enemies with a price on their heads. Now, I mentioned this in the review of the Warriors, where you actually have a smooth voice DJ updates gangs across the city with coded messages about the Warriors' location. So I thought it was cool to actually see a DJ playing a song that is dedicated to the Warriors and to put out a hit using a song and talking in code to kill the Warriors and putting out this whole entire narration of where the Warriors are, so that way the other gangs can kill the Warriors. It was good. And also, too, Nowhere to Run. That was also the song that was being played. And then in John Wick Chapter 4, a radio broadcast is used by the Marquis team to inform assassins across Paris of Wick's location and bounty in real time. And I like the fact that they actually used Painted Black for that one. I thought it was really cool. The DJ's voice is just that smooth talking kind of DJ thing, kind of haunting, kind of menacing kind of way of actually doing it. At that time, I thought, oh, this is cool. This is so original, right? And I didn't even realize at that time it came from the Warriors up until now. And it makes me even more happy that they did this. So the parallel is a stylized narrator guided the story through audio, giving it underground urban legend. Then we have stylized urban undergrounds. Both films feature unique faction groups with distinct styles or codes, a gritty yet stylized version of the city, New York City versus the global assassin underworld, emphasis on street level survival. The world feels theatrical, heightened, and governed by its own rules. That was the parallel that I made when watching this, was the world feels theatrical, heightened, and governed by its own rules and its own guidelines on how they handle certain things and political things within the John Wick movies, and also too not only the John Wick movies, but also even in the Warriors as well. Then we have the villains who just want chaos, right? Where we have the Warriors, Luther doesn't have a clear reason for killing Cyrus. He just likes doing things like that.
You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things.
But John Wick 3 and 4, several characters like the Marquis and driven more by ego and chaos than reason. They want to control revenge, but also enjoy the destruction. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I learned from watching the Warriors and trying to make the connection between the two. I thought it was pretty cool. Tell me what you guys think. Did you like the parallels between John Wick borrowing elements from the Warriors? Did you like the Warriors? Did you like do you like John Wick franchise? Tell me in the comments below. Also, too, do me a favor as well. Are you guys excited about the Ballerina movie? Tell me that. If you enjoyed this video and enjoy more content, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. It will help so much. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, guys.